Family fun just because he left school doesn't mean his education stopped. Mark Twain once said I never allow my schooling to get in the way of my education. My father taught himself how to read, taught himself how to write. Decided in the midst of Jim Crowism, America was breathing the last gasp of the Civil War. My father decided he stand be a man, not a black man, not a brown man, not a white man, but a man. He literally challenged himself to be the best that he could all the days of his life. A third grade dropout that he was quoting Michelangelo saying to us boys, I won't have a problem if you aim high and miss. But I'm gonna have a little issue if you aim low and hit. A country mother quoting Henry Ford saying, if you think you can or if you can't, if you think you can't, you're right. I learned that from a third grade job of simple lessons. Lessons like this, son, you'd rather be an hour early than a minute late. We never knew what time it was in my house because the clocks were always ahead. My mother said for nearly 30 years, my father left the house at 30:45 in the morning. One day she asked him, why, Daddy? He said, maybe one of my boys will catch me in the act of excellence. I want to share a few things with you. Aristotle said, you are what you repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence ought to be a habit, not an act. Don't ever forget that. I know you're tough. I know you're seaworthy, but always remember to be kind. Always. Don't ever forget that. Never embarrass mama. Yeah. Mommy ain't happy. Ain't nobody happy. Daddy ain't happy. Don't nobody cares. But you know, I'm gonna tell you. Next lesson. Lesson from a cook of there in the galley. Son, make sure your servant's tower is bigger than your ego. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity. You might have a relativity mind. You want to send that too. Let me say it again. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity. Pride is the burden of a foolish person. John Wooden coached basketball at UCLA for a living, but his calling was to impact people. And with all those national championships, guess what he was found doing in the middle of the week? Going into the cupboard, grabbing a broom, and sweeping his own gym floor. You want to make an impact? Find your broom. Every day of your life, you find your broom. You grow your influence that way. That way, you're attracting people so that you can impact them. Final lesson. Son, if you're going to do a job, do it right. I've always been told how average I can be. Always been criticized about being average. But I want to tell you something. I stand here before you, before all these people not listening to those words, but telling myself every single day to shoot for the stars, to be the best that I can be. Good enough isn't good enough if I can be better, and better isn't good enough if I can be best. Let me close with a very personal story that I think will bring all this into focus. Wisdom will come to you in the unlikeliest of sources, a lot of times through failure. When you hit rock bottom, remember this, or while you're struggling, rock bottom can also be a great foundation on which to bear and on which to grow. I'm not worried that you'll be successful. I'm worried that you won't fail from time to time. Person that gets up off the canvas and keeps growing, that's the person that will continue to grow their influence. Back in the 70s, they, to help me make this point, let me introduce you to someone. I met the finest woman I'd ever met in my life. Back in my day, we have corridor a brick house. This moment was the funniest moment I've ever seen in my life. There's just a little problem. Back then, ladies didn't like big old linemen. The blind side didn't come out yet. They're like quarterbacks and running backs. We're at this dance. Trina Williams from Longco, California. And we're dancing and we're just excited. And I decided in the middle of the dancing with her that I would ask her for her phone number. That I would ask her for a phone number. That I would ask her for a phone number. Trina she was the only woman in college who gave me a real telephone number. The next day we walked to Baskin Robbins ice cream parlor. My friends couldn't believe it. This has been 40 years ago, and my friends still can't believe it. We go on a second day and third day and a fourth day. We drive from Chico to Vallejo so that she could be my parents. My father missed her. My daddy, my hero. He missed her, pushed me to the side of is she psycho? But anyway, we go together for by now Trina's a senior in college. I'm still a freshman, but I'm working some things out. I'm so glad I graduated 4 times. Nixon for Carter Reagan. So now it's time to propose. I talked to her reference which foreign is in the 70s, so I have to be outside. I have to have a candle. You have to some chocolate. Listen, I'm from the hood. I had a bottle of Boone Farm wines. That's what I had. She said yes. That was the key. I married the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my. You're ever been to the wedding? You're ever been to a wedding? And even before the wedding starts, you hear this. How in the world? And it was coming from my side of the family. We get married, we have a few children, our lives are great. One day, Trina finds a lump in her left breast. Breast cancer. 6 years after the diagnosis, me and my 2 little boys walked up to mommy's casket. And for 2 years, my heart didn't beat. It wasn't for my faith in God, I wouldn't be standing here today. It wasn't for those 2 little boys. There would have been no reason for which to go on. I was completely lost. That was rock bottom. You know what sustained me? The wisdom of a third grade dropout. The wisdom of a simple cook from California Maritime Academy. With that casket, I never seen my dad cry. But this time I saw my dad cry. That was his daughter. Gina was his daughter, not his daughter-in-law. And I'm right behind my father, about to see her for the last time on this earth. And my father shared 3 words, changed my life. It'll be the last lesson he would ever teach me. He said, son, just stand. You keep standing. You keep standing. No matter how the rough the sea, you keep standing. I'm not talking about just water. You keep standing. No matter what, you don't give up. I learned that lesson from a third grade dropout. And it's clearly as I'm talking to you today, these were some of her last words to me. She looked me in the eyes and she said, it doesn't matter to me any longer how long I live. What matters to me most is how I live.
These were some of her last words to me.
She looked me in the eye and she said,
in the eye and she said, "It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me any longer how long I live.
What matters
What matters to me most, what matters to me
to me
most
most is how I
is
live."
how I live.
Ask y'all one
Yes,
question.
I asked you one question, a question that I was asked all my life by a third grade dropout.
Third grade dropout.
How you living?
How you live.
How you living?
Every
Every day ask yourself that question, how you living? Here's a cook in the dining center would suggest you to live this way,
this way.
that you will not judge, that you show up early, that you be kind, that you make sure that servant's towel is huge and used, that if you're gonna do something, you do it the right way. That cook will tell you this, that it's never wrong to be the right thing, that how you do anything is how you do everything.
And
in that way you will grow your influence to make it impact. In that way you will honor all those who have gone before you. And that way you will honor all those who you will honor all those who have gone before you, who have invested in you, from teachers to grandparents and to mom and dad. When you combine that academic knowledge with that wisdom, oh my goodness, you will change the world. So that class 2017, it is with great honor that I say all your lives, look in those unluckiest places for wisdom. Enhance your life every day by seeking the wisdom and asking yourselves every night, how am I living? May God richly bless you all. Thank you for having me again. Great. When I was 5th grade, I identified as mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade, and stayed in the kindergarten until I got out of high school. I don't have any college training, but I met a high school teacher who one day changed my life. I was waiting on another student, and when he came in, he said to me, "Young man, go to the board and write what I'm about to tell you." And I said, "I can do this, sir." He said, "Why not?" I said, "I'm not one of your students." He said, "It doesn't matter, follow my directions now." I said, "I can do this, sir." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm educated mentally retarded." And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, "Don't ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." And as he talked, my heart began to beat fast. Tears began to run from my eyes, and I was in the back just listening to him. Because the speech he was giving, that speech was for me. And he said, "Les Brown, if you want to do anything worthwhile in life, you've got to be hungry." I told Mr. Washington I wanted to become a disc jockey, and so I just started working to develop myself. He said, "I want you to practice every day being a disc jockey." I said, "But I don't have any job now." He said, "It doesn't matter." He said that it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than have an opportunity and not be prepared. And as I was working to develop myself, I applied for a job as a disc jockey in Miami Beach. I went to a guy named Milton Butterworth. I said, "How are you doing, Mr. Butterworth? I'd like to get a job as a disc jockey." He looked at me, he said, "Do you have any broadcast background?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." "Do you have any journalism background?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." He said, "We don't have any jobs available." I said, "Yes, sir." I went back to Mr. Washington and I told him. He said, "Don't take it personally." He said, "Most people are so negative, they will have to say no 7 times before they say yes." He said, "Go back again." So I went back again. I said, "How are you doing, Mr. Butterworth? My name is Les Brown." He said, "I know what your name is. What do you want?" I said, I'd like to know whether or not you have any jobs as a disc jockey, sir." He said, "Go back again."
He said, "We, Mr. Washington, and I."
So I went back again. I said, how are you doing, Mr. Butterbur? My name is Les Brown. He said, I know what your name is, what do you want? I said, I'd like to know whether or not you have any jobs as a disc jockey, sir. He said, did I just tell you yesterday we didn't have any jobs? I said, yes, sir, but I don't know whether or not somebody got laid off or somebody was fired, sir. He said, no one was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here. I came back the next day like I was in for the first time. I said, hello, Mr. Butterbur, how are you? He looked at me with a rage. He said, go get me some coffee. I said, yes, sir. And I wanted to get him some coffee. Afterward, I'll get their lunch and dinner. I would go in the control rooms and taste the disc jockeys their food, and I would leave until they would ask me to leave. One Saturday afternoon, while I was at the radio station, a guy named Rock was drinking while he was on the air. I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room windows, working back and forth. Young, ready, and hungry. Pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager. And I answered the phone. I said, hello. He said, Les. Manager. And I answered the phone. I said, hello. He said, Les, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs? And I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, he must be think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend Cassandra. I said, y'all turn up the radio and come out on the front porch. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes and called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, do you know how to work the controller? Yes. I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put on all stable vertical. I put on an all stable on the record called fingertips. I sat down behind the turntable. I said, look out, this is me, Albert Jordan. Let's brown your plate of plain paper. There will none before me, there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single, I love to be certified, but if I indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, a whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. You gotta be hungry. Begin to know that you have greatness within you. And if just one of you here begin to envision yourselves as being blessed and highly favored to reach your goals. And if just one of you capture the essence of what it means that you have greatness within you, and a responsibility to manifest that greatness. That you can make your parents proud, you can make your school proud, you can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way. And I was facing financial difficulties in my own life. It was very difficult to pick myself up each day, believing that I can do it. There were times that I doubted myself. I used to ask myself, can I do this? And something said within me, you're the one. Don't give up on your dream. By continuing to push forward, by continuing to run toward my dream, that one day, I'll have my own talk show. From literally sitting on a bed or breathing on a floor, never knowing my mother and father being here with you today in this town. It's Atlanta, it's a long shot, no college training, level governmental retired, but I will keep running toward my dream. But I kept running toward my dream. My dream. Don't stop. Don't stop. 아이고. 아우. 영어 공부 너무 열심히 20분이나 했네. 참 너무 많이 해서 큰일 났다. But anyway, I did my best. Right after I wake up, I read two speeches. The first one is, I don't know what his name, but it was speeched at 2017, and after that, it was speeched by Les Brown. It's just 6 minutes, so I have no burden, 부담, pressure. I have less pressure to repeat that. And both of these speeches are repeated almost at least more than 30 times, especially Les Brown's speech are, are repeated almost 100 times. So some part of this speech I can memorize and talk faster than he said. Oh, and also there are new videos that I liked. Uh, it its name is Steve Jobs Stanford Commencement Speech 2005. Wow, it's about almost 15 years ago. It was really really long time ago, and I like that speech too. And now I will add to my YouTube playlist. I just listed. As you can see, I'll repeat these speeches every morning, so it's good. I have no pressure because my goal is just read this, just repeat these things, just 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes. If you don't wanna study English, I'm a lower, just maybe just 3 minutes, because keep doing same thing is more most most important thing. If you it is not good that uh, if you have really confidence and feeling good, you someday you do uh, English study maybe 1 hour, and next day I don't want to study 0 minutes. Up and down is really not good, I think. Do something regularly. Do something regularly, at least 3 minutes every day, is the more important than, as I told before, up and down. High is not good. Uh, I did almost 1 month now, and keep doing something regularly gives me some confidence and enhance my self-esteem. Also, I can I can now feel little bit grow on my skills. Actually, it just depends on how many times I exposed by environment that use English. In Korea, most people wanna say or speak English very well, but there are less time to expose very exact 적합한 suitable environment because every text are Korean and every broadcast or YouTube are talking by Korean, so it is very difficult to learn English. But I'm suggested think repeatedly what you wanna do and don't care is don't care correct or incorrect. Like a baby. What do babies do? Me bath now. Just speak again and again. That's what I think. Oh, 25 years. Oh, no. 그만. Stop. Bye. See you tomorrow.